The hot mic here, Joe.
How's that?
Is this me? Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. Joe, thanks, man. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. No problem.
We're ready to roll? All right. Joe Buck is on the line, and of course, you know I know him. We met in a spin class years ago. Joe was teaching a spin class, and I was out of line with some language, and he threw me. No, it was Pilates. No, Joe is a guy who is honestly, it's going to sound like I'm kissing his ass, has become iconic because I don't think there's anybody who in the same 20 years became literally the voice of two major sports. I mean, when you think of playoff football in the last 20 years and Super Bowls, you think of Joe Buck, and you think of for me as a Yankee fan, you think of the Derek Jeter era. You think of Joe Buck when you think of the Yankees, and I'm sure that hurts him as a Cardinal fan. But he was always a guy who you could tell. Yankee fans say he was anti-Yankee. I don't think that at all, man. I think you could tell how much he loved a guy like Derek Jeter and appreciated a guy like Rivera, and he was the voice of that. And now he's got a book out, and unfortunately for Joe, I'm a part of the book.
Yes.
And he's on the phone, and we become good friends. Joe Buck, what's up, man?
How the hell are you? I've done this now. I've become that guy selling a book, which is annoying. But I'm happy to answer any and all questions about the book or anything beyond.
Well, at least you're not that guy selling weed. That could happen from high school.
Yeah, exactly. I've moved on.
I have friends. I have no friends selling a book besides me. Believe it or not, I'm the smartest guy that graduated from my high school. The smartest guy.
I would believe that, actually.
The second smartest guy could fart "Whole Lotta Love" by Led Zeppelin. That was his big and thought the blue part of the globe was the sky. I had to explain that to him. Listen, first let me get my part out of the way. I learned something in this book from reading my chapter that I never knew. Did you got mad at one thing that I did during that segment, according to this, and you said, when I was starting to do an impression of your father, did you think I was lighting a cigarette because I was imitating your dad?
No, did it come off that way in the book?
I thought, again, your father, like every other man in that generation, smoked cigarettes, and I know he had a gravelly voice, but I love that. I didn't know, did smoking have something to do with his death?
No. Well, right. I mean, he got lung cancer, but I didn't make that. Believe me, I was seeing my life flash in front of my eyes while that was going on. I wasn't thinking about my dad.
Oh,
at
okay.
That moment.
No, because the biggest thing I hated out of it all was one that they thought I was trying to attack you in some way, but the other one was that I was in any way goofing on your dad. That impression is like such a if you're honoring any guy, it's that, and the cigarette was just my desperate attempt to be funny. Because believe it or not, after a while, I was nervous too. But I love that you bring across that you thought I was trying to help you, and I was trying to be funny. And
absolutely, yeah. I mean, I feel like you and I. We will be talking about this until the day we die, whenever we are together. Yeah. And like at some point, hopefully we can move on. But I think, I look back on that, and I meant what I said. I wanted to have you on. I was the one that said book Artie. I was the one, because I was such a Stern Show listener, and right. I knew your understanding of sports and how much you genuinely loved it. And I thought, who better to have on a sports show that could change up the boring talk of a typical HBO sports show than Artie Lang. So
right.
Get him on. And,
right.
and I felt that way afterward. It was like, who cares? As I said in the book, okay, so it was uncomfortable for 10 or 15 minutes. But okay, it was live. And I work for guys at Fox that would have said, hey, this is what happened this week. Who knows what's going to happen next time this show's on? It's fun. I mean, it got a great rating. People watched that show. I took it as a positive, and everybody else freaked out around me, which I thought was just ridiculous.
Well, first of all, thanks for saying all that, because one thing I would have thought would have been sure was after that show, I think you could have thought of a million people who better than Artie Lang.
No, I felt that way, and as we've talked about before, I demanded that you come on the second show, and if they weren't going to let you on the second show, I said I would quit.
That's amazing. Well, again, it's HBO, and as a comic, I'm like, okay, this is the reason Chris Rock doesn't do specials on NBC, But at the same time, look, that's nice of you to say, but my judgment should have been a lot better. I was on drugs. That's going to be me being honest about this. And by the way, we'll be talking this till the day we die. And the good news for you is I got some blood work back. That's going to be like 2 weeks.
Oh, God. Great. Good. No. Well, then there's an end date on this. That's good to know.
And the book will spike in sales, believe me. And the other thing I found out, though, Joe, is, and I started to feel sorry for you, was how many people in the sports business are high and fucking mighty about just life in general. The self-righteous people that take stuff so seriously. I mean, I'm a fan of Mike Francesa, but when he the next day when he was on, you would have thought I killed the Pope on TV.
Right.
I'm goofing on, guys in the sports. I didn't even know who Jason Sudeikis was at the time, by the way. I didn't, and I should know more about comedy, but he was on Saturday Night Live, and is the Warren Beatty of our time. Christ, the pussy that kid gets. But and Paul Rudd is a big movie star, and I didn't even realize you knew him from childhood. I should have been more up on that. But Jesus, Francesa got on and was like, and I'm a fan of his, and he was like, Artie Lang gets on there, and it's just out of control. I mean, this is I hope the Senate has a hearing on this. He's talking about he's talking about groups of people. He's talking about Francesa, get the stick out of your enormous ass.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and Francesa's never liked me, so that was an easy. Oh,
the jealousy, Joe. The other thing, the jealousy, and I'll say it for you because I'm the scumbag. I'll say it. The jealousy that came out, dude. Oh my God, Francesa was clearly basically, if you could interpret interpret asshole language, he was saying, I should have a show, I should have a show, I should have a show. And that's what it was. And I felt so sorry for you.
There was no need to feel sorry. The only thing that frustrated me from that entire experience, we only got to do, it wasn't like the Bill Simmons show that just got canceled.
The worst thing in the history, again, I'll be the scumbag. The worst thing in the history of television. And I tried this. I did the old cliche. I put Bill Simmons show on one night. I painted the wall right next to the TV, and I swear to you, every time I watched the paint dry.
Oh, God.
Every time, instead of Bill Simmons, my attention in 30 seconds went to watching the paint dry. Then on the other side, I put two flies fucking. And every single time, within 10 seconds, I watched two flies fucking instead of Bill Simmons interviewing, Seth Rogen about weed. You were Johnny Carson in his prime compared to Bill Simmons.
Well, look, what I started to go into was that I was doing a show every, I think it was 4 months, 3 months.
Right.
And so you leave, and then it's like, okay, see you in a few months. And you don't really ever get a chance to settle into whatever you're going to eventually be. Now, we got canceled immediately, it felt like, but I was proud of the show, and I thought it was getting better, and then it went away. But
Howard even said it. Howard even said, who gets good? First of all, you were miles ahead of a lot of people who would have been doing a show like that. You were smooth when you came out. The monologue was fine. Everybody needs writers every week to do well. Believe me, I'm friends with guys like Fallon and Kimmel. Without writers, what are they going to do? They'd be working construction.
And it's live, and it was live.
That's
if
great.
I said it on the stage, or you said it on the stage, it was on somebody's TV in Topeka. So
right.
There was a little bit of a high wire act, and I thought for all that it was good. But again, man, I was honored that you would come on, and it's a part of my book, and it's a part of my life, and it's a part of my career, and I do not run from it. I think you learn from everything, and I learned that I had a good gig going, and I'm glad I still have that spot at Fox, because I thought the reaction by HBO, which is where you were going a minute ago, it's nighttime, it's after dark on HBO.
Right.
Come on,
yeah.
Let's just get over ourselves here.
And what another smart thing you did that a lot of guys don't do in show business is you kept your day job that you're amazing at. Howard was the same way. When Howard started to shoot private parts, he didn't quit thinking he was going to become Tom Cruise. It's like a million things can go wrong. And again, the best broadcaster I've ever been within 3 feet of is Howard. And even he said, a lot of people forget, he thought you were great at that job. He said that guy's a million times more advanced than a lot of guys he think from sports. And the Joe Namath segment was great. And of course, I always point out that Chad Ochocinco and Brett Favre. My God, it's like interviewing plywood if they don't have a big announcement to make. Again, Chad Ochocinco, the most exciting thing he does is change his name to his number on his jersey.
Yeah.
And,
to me, by now, for both of us, it's ancient history, but I guess when you have a book coming out,
why not?
You got to talk about it. So
right.
Whatever.
And this is how much I love Joe. I am willing to do something controversial this week, like get arrested to help this book. So I'm gonna just look at the news later.
Well, we oh really?
Yeah, look at the news later. It's gonna involve me, a machete, and being naked.
Oh, good! I can't wait to read that. And we need to do some sort of a book signing together somewhere.
Well, I'll keep my promise to you, even though you broke yours to me. I will show up at your book signing.
Like I scheduled something and didn't show up.
You know what I'm going to do?
We didn't schedule anything.
Can I tell you, as an addict, I promised I wouldn't goof on this, but you are a hair plug addict. Is that true?
Well.
Now, what does that even mean?
Addict is psychotic.
Okay, right.
I'm not an addict to the most painful fucking thing in the history of the world.
Well, let me just say this. Everybody has their pain. As a heroin addict, a lot of people, when they run out of veins in their arm, they go to their ass or their lip. Do you do that with hair plugs? Will you go to your...
Yes. I'm down to pubic and ass hair on my head.
Will you be like shaking in a corner at like a Packer game, and you're like, I need some hair plugs in my ass?
No, seriously, that's what I said after that came out. It's like I'm freebasing hair plugs at parties, like in a bathroom.
Can I ask you something? I've been to every type of rehab. I met people addicted to everything. Did you have other people addicted to this? Because, I think Pete Rose is. Did you see what he looks like lately?
No, and to be clear, that was taken from a page of my book that was tongue in cheek. I mean, there was no like shaking. Oh my God, I got to get my fix. I got to get hair plugs. It's just not. But I was probably addicted to the result, I guess, and hoping that I could cover my massive head with some sort of cover. But
with heroin addicts, you get the result is you feel amazing, and
this is awful. This is terrible. I mean, I can't speak to the euphoria that is heroin, but I can tell you, when your head swells to 6 times its normal size and you're sutured in the back of your head, there's nothing euphoric about it.
Well, listen. First of all, to be a good friend, I tried hair plugs, and it's not as good as heroin.
Okay, good. Well, it's good to know.
But listen, like Michael Jackson's doctors, who are these doctors that keep giving it to you? If your head is like that bad, and you could not have a more mainstream job either. And that's what's great about this book. The fact that you named it Lucky Bastard, people look at you, and it's the reason these Francesa's guys, people like that, were jealous. You have the most mainstream job there is. You're talking to middle America. I mean, you're doing Packer Cowboy playoff games, and you're talking to everybody. So the fact that you admit to having pain in your life in any way, And by the way, you get the hottest broads on the planet. Jesus Christ! I mean, what?
Well, that's part of the whole lucky bastard thing. But I am a
no. Did you get hot broads in high school?
I'm a legit bastard. My dad was married with 6 kids when he met my mom and impregnated her with me.
Tell you what, you know why? Because he's a man's man. Because he's a man's man.
Right.
That's right. That's what men used to do. I'm not mad at Antonio Cromartie on the Jets for spreading his seed. I'm not, because that's what the Romans used to do. You get money, you spread your seed. That's what you do. Of course, you like to pay the broad some child support, but Cromartie's are different. Jack Buck is like, I'm having another kid. What the hell's the big deal? Costas, get off your high horse.
So that's the reason for the title, but I am. I mean, I grew up my dad's kid, and I got to see all this stuff before I got into it, and I was ready to do the Cardinals at 21, and I was ready to do the World Series at 27, and I was doing Super Bowls, but I don't take it that seriously, and I think that's what pisses a lot of people off, that I'm not grinding over a game. I think you need to put it in its proper place. People aren't really listening to us. They don't care what we say, and if they do, then they're bored in life. So they don't have anybody else in the room with them watching the game.
But also, Joe, but listen, I know a lot of my friends who are, Cowboy fans. They're bored in life.
Well, yeah, there you go. So,
no, I'm kidding.
I just, what I wanted to put out there was, here I am, warts and all. And was I addicted to hair plugs? No. And did it cost me my voice? Yeah, it paralyzed the vocal cord, not because it was hair plug surgery. It could have been a knee replacement, hip surgery, whatever.
Right.
But it was an operator error with the tube that goes down your throat, and it made the nerve that fires my vocal cord damaged.
Oh, man. I mean, that's your career, too. I mean, that's
it.
Right. So that's
it.
where.
So I thought I was done, and I went into depression, and I got on antidepressants, and then I was going through divorce, and then so there's all of that. This is not like a pure sports book of, if you want to know what happened in the 2007 World Series, turn to chapter 11.
Right, we know. We know what happened. Anyway, I mean, it was. Yeah. But listen, again, I'm not trying to kiss you. Yes, you are good at that job you do. You are great and smooth at what you're doing.
I love it. Yeah. I would rather work than not work, and I love what I do. But I also appreciate what's going on in the field. I'm not trying to overtalk. I'm trying to let the action speak for itself, and when you need me, you need me. But otherwise, if the crowd's going crazy, you don't need me. There's nothing I'm going to say that's better or more appropriate than listening to a crowd go nuts or watching a team celebrate in the middle of the field.
Right.
I'll just shut up and watch it with everybody else.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You had the announcer equivalent of what Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. did. Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. hit back-to-back, father and son. They hit back-to-back home runs in a Major League Baseball game on the same team. To me, that's not discussed enough. I mean, if you ask any American boy in the last 100 years, what do they want to do? Hit a home run in a Major League Baseball game. To do that with your dad is not talked about enough. I mean, that's bigger than landing on the fucking moon to me.
Yeah, I agree.
You did, to me, you had the opportunity to do that in announcing. Your father had an iconic line when a home run would win a big baseball game. One in particular in '87 with Kirby Puckett. He said, he ended up going, and we will see you tomorrow night, which is amazing. How many years later was that? 20 years, 25 years later?
20 years later.
20 years later. Okay. That guy's son announcing the World Series, Game 6, your team, the Cardinals, big home run, and you have the presence of mind to say that exact line. I was on the air with Nick DiPaolo, who I can tell you is not a sensitive guy. Me and him,
I know.
Me and him got goosebumps. We were like, that is unbelievable. Dan started crying. He was wearing leg warmers. But it was what an American moment. Now let me ask you this: did you have in your mind for years, I'm going to say this if I get the chance, and you said, okay, this might happen, or was it completely spontaneous to do that?
It was completely spontaneous in that moment.
Right.
It was the second time I said it. I said it in Game 6 in 2002 when he died.
Right.
And that not long after he passed away.
That's right. Okay.
And then I said it again when I was sitting in a booth that he would have been one booth away from me calling it for the Cardinals. I was doing it for Fox, and it was I don't know, 20 years ago, I think the day before. So it was almost exactly 20 years.
Wow.
And it was a St. Louis kid that hit it, forced it to a Game 7. And
yeah, the Cardinals in St. Louis. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think I said it from my mom more than anybody. And the irony was, because of that one swing and that one Jack Buck cover band call I made,
right,
I won an Emmy the year that I had the aforementioned paralyzed vocal cord. It was the worst year in the history of anybody's broadcasting career.
That's not
shouldn't have been on TV.
Come on, that's not. I mean, for you it was bad.
Like I was dying.
Right.
And I talked like this. I couldn't keep my breath, and I couldn't emote, I couldn't yell. And then by the time we got to Game 6, my voice was basically 90% back, and I made that call, and it just timing was everything there.
Well,
otherwise, it would have been a mess.
Yeah, well, I was a little puzzled that in that big time game you were doing a Vito Corleone impression. I think that was right. I'd like to say to you, the man saying that your first child, Tim McCarver, be a masculine child. Geez, Joe's showing off here. But, the best thing I could say with my dad is once we ate back-to-back pizzas from Domino's, and I installed an illegal cable next to a house he had done it with. The North Jersey version of that came out.
You got to take those moments and just, make the most.
Savor them. The other thing now, would your father, your father was the Sinatra generation,
Yeah.
Would your father, if he had heard you had any sort of addiction, would he have been like, come on, what's the matter with you? Was he that kind of guy? Said you're not depressed. What are you depressed about? Because that's how my old man was.
I mean, my dad went to therapy or got on Lexapro or anything.
He did. Right.
No,
he just bagged another broad.
Yeah, he'd drink a Manhattan, put a little vermouth in there, smoke a cigarette, and do whatever the hell he wanted.
Listen, let me tell you something. You think you had it bad. One time I struck out Little League. My father told me I was swinging like a cunt.
Oh, God.
All right? Which, by the way, is the name of my next book. Artie like swinging like a cunt. Swinging for the fences. You think you had it bad. Another great thing that your father had, another thing that I loved it because he did it with McCarver, was the CBS playoffs, and Barry Bonds against the Braves, I believe he was playing, because they were in the Western Division, and Barry Larkin. Okay, no, Reds, Pirates. Barry Larkin leads off. Your father. This is what your father does. Pitch to Larkin, fly ball to left. Bonds is there. He's got it. That's the way this one starts. Timmy will give you the lineup. I mean, just like the dismissive of like, hey, Tim, shut up and give the lineups. Get in
right.
And you listen to Jack Buck. What do you think? Is there anything that's the other thing. You were never cliche, which is, and you guys followed Pat Summerall and John Madden as the voice of football, you and Aikman, and that was a beloved team.
That was way harder to follow than my dad into the Cardinal booth or whoever into the baseball booth. I mean, when you step in for Pat Summerall and John Madden, that was like you felt like you needed to learn another language. Or something.
You're right. And Pat Summerall he was addicted to something, but it wasn't hair plugs.
No, yeah, exactly. And he was the guy that when he was doing what I do now was like the master of understatement, like Montana.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Exactly.
Touchdown. and I kind of fell into that trap a little bit the first few years of doing it. So I've kind of trashed that, and I'm just kind of getting.
You're you, man. I mean, it's when I think of Michael Jordan, I think of Marv Albert. Well, I think of losing money on bets, but I think of Marv Albert. That's it. And the other way you're like Marv Albert, and this is a major compliment, is that you are subtle. Like you'll have sarcasm in your voice, like a little twinge of sarcasm comes up when you're goofing on somebody. Like which is a very smart thing to do in comedy. I mean, comedians yearn for that rather than being right on the money. Marv Albert did this incredible thing. When a guy who sucked on the Knicks made a basket, he would have this little surprise in his voice, like a shitty guy did something great, and it was better. It was better than calling him shitty. Like he would say stuff like, Vandaway over to Ewing, kicks, Eddie Lee Wilkins gets on the scoreboard. Like they're like, whoa, and Eddie Wilkins did something good, you know, and you do that exact thing, and you could do it when you're goofing on not only players but other guys you're in the booth with. And I hope, please tell me you hate A-Rod. I mean, could A-Rod be more rehearsed? I mean, he turns around like Donald Trump looking at cue cards. You know, he goes back, like he's in the rehearsal. You know, he's got coaches doing it, and he's looking at Pete Rose. Did Pete Rose lose a bet? And did someone say you got to look like a ventriloquist dummy on TV? Did Pete Rose lose a fucking bet? Who is dressing him? I mean, that's the guy. Now I don't want him in the Hall of Fame. I wanted him before that bow tie. What is going on with that? He's trying to look like shit. Your thoughts? He had to lose a bet. A bookie had to say, "Listen, we're even if you look like a ventriloquist dummy."
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah, I mean,
that's great.
I mean, how do you look bad next to the big hurt in a suit?
You want me to tell you that I hate A-Rod? I don't hate A-Rod.
Oh, whatever. We'll just fill you when you were full of Valium at the hair plug studio.
Then you can ask me.
I can see. I know. I'm gonna interview a bunch of hair plug doctors, and I know they know the real thing.
Okay.
We know Joe. Good. We know Joe. A-Rod's an asshole.
No, he's not.
And how about this? You and Pat Summerall have another thing in common. You both have partners in the booth who are rumored to be gay. Your thoughts?
Oh, God.
Oh, God, yeah. And both are not.
Both invented the turducken. All right, yeah. Aikman's not, but come on. I mean, Madden's been single. Hello.
The turducken. Do we have to talk about that? Because it's
he invented the turducken.
I have to do the game tomorrow and talk about a turducken.
Yeah. So first of all, something else I want to tell you. There's a picture in your book of me and your beautiful daughter, and it just shows don't do drugs. I don't remember taking the picture. And God, you have a beautiful family. How do you deal with kids now, and you're famous and you're traveling all the time, and you want to be in their life? Because was your father in your life? Like you go into this in the book, but for my fans who don't read books, there's a lot of them. I've had people with my book, Joe, literally come up to me and say, "Artie, I can't read, but I read your book."
Well, good. I'd take anybody. I don't care if they read it. I just want them to buy it.
I'm gonna buy it in bulk. Well, your father, what was the?
No, he was. I swear to you, he was the guy that would take the red eye home to watch me pitch in high school, or stand on the sideline on my high school football team, or whatever it might have been. And he took me with him. I was in every National League city by the time I was 12. He and I would stop in Vegas on the way home after a trip through L.A., back towards St. Louis, and he'd hand me a $20 bill, and I'd go play Donkey Kong, and he'd shoot craps all night.
That's great.
And in the morning, he'd come to the night, open the door to the hotel room, grab me, I'd be packed and ready to go, and off to the airport we went, and it was either I got a wad of hundreds in my hand, or we worked for free this week. Buck, don't tell your mother.
That's awesome. It would be great if your father would announce, like just out of force of habit, would announce crap games he was in, like some asshole.
11. I got.
I'm betting the don't pass line. Some asshole in a leisure suit rolls 3 straight sevens. I'm broke. That's the way this weekend starts.
I'm sure he did. Trust me. I'm sure there were times late at night around the 4 a.m. time slot that he was doing play-by-play.
Joe, here's a double sawbuck. Get some breakfast. The flight's at 9 a.m. That's the way this weekend starts. What a man's man.
Tim will give him the lineup.
Timmy, and you now half brothers and sisters. How many children did your father have? 8 total. Wow, so he was halfway to Cromartie land.
I mean,
what a great man! What a great man! Just like what kind of relationship do you have? You probably have some loser half siblings who are looking for money, right?
I would say that I haven't really kept up with the majority of them since my dad died 14 years ago.
Right.
But me dredging up a lot of stuff in this book about dropping off the alimony check at their house when I was a little kid.
Wow. Oh yeah. See that?
And the stares of death that I would receive when I walked in as a 5-year-old, and I had no clue as to why they hated me, but as time went on, I understood it. I was the reason why their dad left their mom. That's a hard thing to reconcile. Yeah,
well, at least he just left. My father had 2 wives who fell down the stairs. Those were the stairs of death. It was very mysterious.
Oh God!
As soon as they got pregnant. So there's no like loser siblings who want money who call you.
No, they're all actually. I have two of my half sisters are in radio and television, and they're all successful, doing fine. But
that's great. That's great. Yeah. And we see you did have a lot of tough stuff in your life. So like, traveling and alimony checks and being, $20 will come get you with the airport. That trains you for the life you have on the road now. You're all over the place.
Well, yeah, and I was, believe me, I was in plenty of hotel bars or walking past them with my dad going, Dad, that doesn't look like Pedro Guerrero's wife.
That's hilarious.
And he would just be like, put your head down, Buck, keep walking. And that was it. So
shut up. Shut up. You know how the Spanish, huh? Shut up.
Right. Exactly.
Was your father a racist? Like mine was, and I'm so proud of it.
I don't think he was at all.
Well, I have a different story here.
But my dad, was not in the politically correct generation.
No, of course not.
There was stuff that he would say on radio and TV that today I'd be, if I said it, I'd be like in Guantanamo Bay in about 3 days.
What about Phil Rizzuto? I grew up listening to Phil Rizzuto, and the stuff he said by mistake would get him thrown out. He would make mistakes. He would go, John Lowenstein's up for the Orioles. I'll tell you, you don't see a lot of his type here. And Bill White would go. Bill White, who's way smarter, would go, what are you talking about? Well, I don't know. Awkward pauses.
I have so many filters. First of all, that you don't have, but
well, I can't.
That my dad didn't have to have. And in this day and age, I mean, it is. You better be careful if you doing my job. If you step out on a limb at all, or you go veer out of the center lane,
it sucks.
You're gone. You're not going to last. So it makes everybody boring. That part of it sucks.
Well, look, a perfect example is that HBO show. I veered out of the lane. You didn't. You're still doing the Super Bowl. I'm in my kitchen doing a show with Dan.
Well, I couldn't veer out. I mean, first of all, if I jump down in there with you, I'm going to lose.
I know.
You're you.
Wow.
And secondly, it would not have looked good if I did. So I just had to sit there and take it.
Well, I'm looking at that. If I look at a clip of that, I can't watch that clip. I'm the only loser up there. Sudeikis is banging every broad in Hollywood and doing We're the Millers 6, cashing in. Paul Rudd is the biggest star still in the world. And and I'm me. Quite frankly.
Yeah, but you're the one I wanted there. So shows you how dumb I am.
And of course, you're very nice in the book. We get into I was back the second week. People don't realize that, and we did a bit, and you were great. Believe me, the HBO, if they let you go, it would have been more of the same, which was great. You were good at what you did.
No, it was a blast. Let me tell you, man. I ended up. I thought, it's HBO. People are going to be running through walls to come on my show, and it was a pain in the ass trying to get anybody to agree to come on, and then you're, flying up there. I loved it, but I didn't miss it.
Here's the problem. I'll give you the analogy. You were like Saddam Hussein in this. Saddam Hussein, we thought he was bad until we got ISIS. We thought, when they saw Bill Simmons, holy shit, he's like ISIS. Your thoughts? Okay, we'll move on. Now, are your kids gonna? Like, a lot of kids have stories like Springsteen's book. He has stories about pulling his father out of a bar and stuff. Are your kids gonna have stories about pulling you out of a hair plug clinic?
Yes, yeah. with my head looking like I put in a lawnmower. Yeah, they're dragging me out. Kids, I hate you. I never loved you.
Dad, that's not your hair.
It is my hair.
Yeah, that's not Pedro Guerrero's wife.
Well, yeah. I have actually started to transplant hair from other people's heads.
How many women did Pedro Guerrero? How many women did he break their heart? He probably broke a lot of hearts on Pedro. He was cute. What now? I recommend this book to anybody because again, whenever a sort of an iconic figure who's known for a mainstream job opens up like this, it's great. You're honest, and don't shoot for the stars. My book was number one. That's not going to happen. That's not going to. I have better stories, but
I bought your book.
I know.
I wrote the friggin' foreword, and I bought your book.
I gave my book to your book to my neighbor. So I'm gonna have to.
Okay, good. Thanks.
My neighbor, by the way, does. That's all he asks about, and because he's a big sports fan, and he hated Bill Simmons' show too. I could hear him yelling at the TV through the wall, going, "This guy sucks."
Oh my God! Enough, Bill Simmons. I'm not talking about Bill Simmons.
I'm talking about him.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about the biggest thing. You have to tell Pete Rose not to dress like that. You have to pull him aside like an intervention and go, Pete. Pete, you have more hits than anybody in history. Take the fucking bow tie off.
I will.
Now, how many?
From me to you, I will make that happen. Although they think that's like a cute look for him or something.
Would you leave? Would you leave one of your wives around A-Rod alone?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. He's a scumbag. He's a scumbag.
One of my wives.
I don't care.
I would leave one of my wives around.
Well, we all have that one. We all have that one. You know. You think you have a bad? I can't leave my wife around Dom Herrera.
Dom Herrera. I've not heard that name in a while.
Best comedian.
Best comedian I love Dom Herrera.
Best comedian ever. Let me tell you something. If Jerry Seinfeld doesn't meet Larry David, he's opening up for Dom Herrera. But I know that stuff you talk about off the air. Now, what is your Troy Aikman? Gun to your head, Troy Aikman or Tim McCarver? Who would you rather party with?
Rather party with Troy Aikman.
Does Troy Aikman party?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Troy. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's the thing. There isn't a more misunderstood guy or unknown guy than Troy. Troy, you would love Troy if we had no microphone.
Well, I doubt he would love me.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would.
I don't know. I think he would look at me like a loser.
Hey, look, man. Hey, Troy. I love
do me and Troy Aikman having a conversation.
The triplets and the Moose Johnston, and you cost me a lot of money, you asshole. All right, Artie, I gotta go. I got a book event.
Dude, hang up at anything. You got a book event, Mr. Big Shot. I've got a book event. Well, come on, put the hair plugs in and go.
There's 15, 20 people waiting out here.
Okay, you're a big shot. We get it. I got my cousin here. Okay. Listen, I love you to death. I'm just gonna keep talking. You can hang up at any time. But you're one of the best friends a guy could have, and I appreciate you sticking up for me. Get the book, Lucky Bastard. I'll keep plugging it. Have a good day, Joe. I love you.
I think I wrote this book just to hear you say Lucky Bastard.
Yeah, well, I wrote this book.
Get the book, Lucky Bastard.
Yeah, you know what? You call it the radio stations as me and promote it.
All right, good. We're in.
All right,
see you, man.
Go to your entourage. I love you.
All right, bye.
Be well. Joe up on his high horse. Yeah. You know, you see, it's tough with a guy. You see, every time I make a joke that's off color, a guy like Joe, you know, he's got to like bring it back to okay, I got to do the Packer game. But you know, just once I'd like to hear him as a goof. Just see if Aikman picks up on it. Say the Green Bay Fudge Packers. Just see if Aikman goes, wait a minute. What'd you say? Are you goofing on me? Because there is a rumor Aikman's gay, and it was started by Giant fans. But let's talk. John Madden. I've heard right there. Did you hear about John Madden?
Yes, there were.
He never took a lady out. Do you think that Winnebago filled with turkey, ducks, and chickens? He has a Winnebago filled with turkeys, ducks, and chickens. Do you think he's getting hot broads on that?
The Madden Cruiser?
Yeah, I don't think the Madden Cruiser. Yeah. Madden Cruising with Al Pacino. I don't think the Madden Cruiser was like the Playboy Mansion. I don't think he got an enormous robe. It wasn't like the Grotto. Well, he probably had a lot of whores, though, right? Right?
I don't know. He's still alive. I don't know if we can.
Is he still alive?
Yes,
I thought he died. They're both alive. Pat Summerall and him, right?
No, Pat Summerall died a couple years ago.
Who would have figured that? In 1981, you're watching the NFC Championship game. One of these guys is going to die before the other. You're not thinking Pat Summerall. Well, I guess, John Madden, of course, not gay. Right, Dan? I mean, you know a lot about that stuff.
All I can tell you is he was never married.
Right, okay, well. Neither was I. No. And I live with you. Christ, there's a lot of red flags here. All I need is a pair of pink fucking...
I never thought about that.
All I need is a pair of pink leg warmers and a lisp.
You got the gloves.
There's rumors about Dan, and of course I can say no way. No way. He does disappear on a Saturday, and I don't know what happened. Well, you know everybody in radio because you did in Chicago. You're a big broadcaster.
Well, a lot of those Bears made that. That was Madden's prime time there with the 85
because you like Bears.
Yeah.
Are you saying Madden like Bears? Yeah. So, did you ever interact with John Madden?
Yeah, sure.
And so, no signs, no gay smoke. With his gay smoke.
Well, I remember Steve McMichael once and Dan Hampton having a conversation like oh my God, was the conversation? Did you see Madden fucking that guy? Was the conversation? Oh my God, John Madden's blowing that guy. Was that it? No. What was the conversation? That it was odd that he was not married.
Oh well, come on, that's a big deal. Ask a lot of heterosexual guys if they should have gotten married.
And then some of the guys he picked on his all Madden team.
Oh,
were a little flimsy.
Were cute? Were they flimsy? Like who? Well, come on now. And now I'm going back to the John Madden team. You know what? He picked Aikman 3 times 1 year. I'll tell you, if there's one guy you want to cook a turducken with, if there's one guy you want to have a romantic turducken dinner with, could you have a romantic turducken dinner? That's a little manly. If there's one guy, look, I am HIV positive. That Troy Aikman is the best cook. I tell you what, that offensive line did open up a lot of holes.
Oh God,
that offensive line opened up a lot of holes. I bet Emmitt Smith wasn't the only black thing to go through it. There's a big black thing going through that hole, and that's not Emmitt Smith. That's Richard Dent's cock.
Oh God,
was Bucky Dent Richard Dent's?
No,
Richard Dent was Bucky Dent's child, right? That's what I heard. Didn't Bucky Dent have an affair with Pat from the Saturday Night Live? And Richard Dent. Yeah, no, Bucky Dent had an affair with the woman who played Aunt Esther.
Oh, God.
And Richard Dent was the defensive back. That was the child. Because Richard Dent, when he was sacking you, would yell out, "Watch it, sucker." That's a new rumor we're starting. Quite frankly, I wish we had a bigger audience because I would start that rumor immediately. Richard Dent is the illegitimate child of Bucky Dent and the woman who played Aunt Esther on Sanford and Son, and explains Richard Dent sacking Tony Eason in the '86 Super Bowl. And he would go, "Watch it, sucker." And Tony Eason got in trouble because some ref said that Tony Eason would go, "Why don't you go to the kitchen and make gorilla cookies? Why don't you go in the kitchen and put your face in some dough and make gorilla cookies?" That was a joke on primetime sitcoms in the 70s. God, television has changed. You're not going to see that on The Big Bang Theory.
No, you were not.
Red Fox would say to an enormous black woman, go in the kitchen, stick your face in some dough, and make gorilla cookies. Yeah, I guess TV's funnier now. All right, Joe Buck's book, Lucky Bastard. My life, my dad, and the things I'm not allowed to say on TV, like Artie Lang's here. Gotta love this guy. Joe Buck is the best. Lucky, get this book. The book is great. Dan read it. I thumbed it.
When we were waiting for you to get in, he was talking to me on the line. He said, "Listen, I'm all cubbed out, so let's."
Yeah, well, you should be. But Jesus Christ, and I think Aikman's all reamed now.
No.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break. How long was that interview?
43 minutes.
What do you think about the Richard Dent rumor? Can we start that?
I can start it.
Bucky Dent.
I will text Tom Waddle and Dan Hampton right now.
How funny. Waddle. Was that a nickname after he
No.
After he got reamed by Matt?
It's funny.
After he got reamed by Matt, they killed him Waddle? This guy, his name used to be Johnson. Then Matt had reamed him in the turducken bus, and now he's Tom Waddle. What happened again?
Waddle made the All Madden team a couple of times.
And, he did, right?
Yeah.
Was he cute?
I remember.
Was he flimsy?
I remember that the guys made fun of him a little bit.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Really?
And Tom's, you would say to him, I saw him about a month ago, and I said, "Here's All Madden Waddle," and he said, "Yeah, whatever."
No kidding. Wow, there's all Waddle Madden. Yeah. Well, Jack Tatum has some stories about being at the Raider camp in the 70s with the Hells Angels, and Madden would get beat up because he came on to a few of them.
Oh, really?
That's not true. Because those Hells Angels are still alive. We don't want to. Is Jack Tatum dead?
Yes, I think so. I think he just died.
Oh yeah, he was the best defensive safety, free safety for the Raiders. They called me the assassin.
Yes.
And God, John Madden's outliving everybody.
He died 27th of 2010.
John Madden's got those eyebrows.
Madden's like 80 or 81, I think.
Looks like Pierre Salinger.
And he's still doing radio. I heard him. He has some syndicated show. I heard it in your car.
Really?
Yeah. He does like a 10-minute thing.
And Pat Summerall's dead, but it's the same exact. It's like the same thing. It's just all John Madden. And the telestrator. And with the telestrator, sometimes he would point to a cute guy in the stands for no reason.
Oh, God.
I got here, and he's coming around this way. And then here's Phil Simms. And then look at the ass on that guy. This guy right here was at the Marriott last night, right here. All right, let's take a break. My cousin Jason here. What's up, buddy? Jason Geary, my cousin. And I have an incredible. We'll take a break and we'll come back to this. And of course, Evan, his friend who I've known forever. These kids are from the same hometown as Chelsea Handler, and they're funnier. Livingston guys. I've known Evan for forever too. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Art?
How you doing, man?
Good, buddy.
And now you and me and my cousin Jason, we golfed with the president of the United States, or the president-elect. We golfed with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And Eli Manning. Right? I mean, Jason is like a scratch golfer. And I thought of him that day because I got invited to do a charity thing. I know Trump because I roasted him, which is funny. I've said to our president-elect at a banquet, I've said, hey, Donald, I got 2 words for your hairdresser. You're fired. I've said that to him. I've also said that, this got me in trouble with him, that someday he's going to show his daughter all the buildings in Atlantic City and say your name will be on these one day if you marry a guy named Borgata. And he got mad at that. So Jason and Eli Manning. And Eli Manning, will you confirm Eli Manning seems retarded, Jason?
A little bit. Mouth breather?
Unfortunately, so does Trump. But Trump, I want to interview Jason about Donald Trump because I love the guy. But that day indicates his temperament. If you goofed on his shirt, wasn't he like an 8th grader? He would like goof on your pants, right?
He would just totally just go with busting back on you.
Busting balls, right? I mean, there's not a lot. And I mean, by the end, all 3 of us were. But believe me, if we were in high school and there was a locker, all 3 of us would have been stuffing Eli in the locker. And what about the pussy on that fucking that golf course? Every other hole, there's a hot chick. And I said to Trump, I said, "Did you personally interview these girls?" And he had a hot dog in his mouth. Symbolically,
that he had no problem just he
was like
tips.
Yeah, he said he bought some of the furniture. And he was trying to grab at one of them. I thought it was for a beer, but could have been their pussy. I was grabbing pussy by the end of that day. I'll tell you what, and it wasn't on the golf course. I'll take a break and interview Jason more about that. Do you want to talk about that afternoon?
I'll talk about it.
All right.
Yeah. He's pissed that he's not in the picture. That always gets tweeted. I wasn't
in the picture.
Well, they did that. They cropped it.
That's all right.
What do you want me to tell you?
I'm confident.
You go tell dick jokes for 20 years. You'll be in the. That's funny. I'll tweet one out with you. I'll put one out today. I'm gonna write that wrong because I'm a family guy. And I'll superimpose Uncle Tom on it too. How's that sound? All right, we'll take a break.
Thanks.
All right. Back. Hey guys. So, in addition to this final podcast before Thanksgiving. And a great interview with Joe Buck. Joe's the best, man. Got a great sense of humor. My cousin, we were talking about my cousin coming on to talk about the golf outing with Trump, but he was too shy. I'm the only obnoxious prick in the family. So I want to say happy Thanksgiving from me and Dan from the Artie Quitter podcast. Right, right, Danny?
Yes, this was a very great year to be thankful. Yeah,
you're right. We got a lot of stuff going on. Again, February 19th is the premiere of the show crashing on HBO that Pete Holmes and Judd Apatow were sweet enough to give me a part. And I'm, for the most part, a regular on most episodes, and it was a blast. I played myself as a comedian. I don't know. The one of the episodes with Sarah Silverman, Danny Filato's in it because the podcast is in it. Judd and Pete put the podcast on the show. The first 2 episodes, I'm all over the place. Very in the show a lot, and I don't know. It premieres after Girls, which is Judd's other show, and so it's a Judd Apatow hour. And I'm supposed to be part of the promotional tour that starts in January, leading up to February 19th. It's a stand-up thing with Pete Holmes and Judd, and I'm supposed to do that. I just went to the doctor. My liver and kidneys are working great. I mean,
that's
that is
what I was talking about.
It really is. My liver and kidneys are working great. I'll say that again. My liver and kidneys are working great. I'll say that one more time. It's I don't know. I don't know.
Now, will you be taking Mario Bosco on the Apatow Holmes tour?
Well, I'm gonna actually. It's funny you say that. Judd and Pete listened to the show, and they heard that Mario might come on the tour, and they said, "Let us know where Mario lives," because they actually want to pick venues that are as geographically far away from where Mario might be.
That Uber doesn't deliver him?
Well, yeah, they want to make sure that it's impossible, even by Learjet, for him to somehow get to the show by the time it goes on. Like Mario's mother, we don't believe in him. No, of course, we love the guy, but he's not coming on the tour. The guy's not a stand-up comedian. The guy's an author. He's not an author actor. The guy's clearly just an act. Actually, he's not an actor. He's Mario. He's our Mario.
That's
and we
right.
love him. He is the new MB on the show.
That's right.
There was a Mike Boschetti on the show, but apparently Mike thinks I'm not good to him. Yeah. Mike thinks I'm not good to him. Google Mike Boschetti /weather, and you'll see if I'm good to him. All right? Anyway, it's something I put on Twitter, by the way. Don't look any deeper into this than you should. And this is not a political thing, not at all. I'm a guy who you would think wouldn't help cops. I've been arrested 20 times. I'm a felon. But I do have great respect for cops. I have friends who are cops. And I have a friend who was a cop. And he didn't retire. We'll put it that way. And he didn't die. So we'll put it that way. He's driving an Uber. So, I do. I really do. Without them, there's nothing. There's chaos. And I've seen the world's dark people. Not skin color. I mean dark. I've seen actually, this one guy had a darker skin. No, I meant attitude. Like the Dark Ages. There are some racist kids I went to high school with who think Springsteen's song "Darkness on the Edge of Town" means a black neighborhood.
Oh, God.
I said, no, darkness. And then I started thinking, I go, well, maybe it is. But it's not. Bruce is not a racist. I point to Clarence Clemens. Right? Wasn't he black? He was very black.
Yes, sir.
He might have, maybe he was talking about darkness on the edge of the band. No, clearly, I've seen the world's abyss in the nefarious things like drugs and gambling and
agents,
radio and TV, yeah. Radio executives. We need cops, man. We need cops. We need military. And I said on Twitter today, these cops get assassinated all over the country. I did this for a few cops over the years. A few months ago, I did it for that poor guy, Tarantino, up in Boston, his family. And the great Lenny Clark helped me out there. And we did a show and helped them out with some cash. They do get benefits. When these cops get executed, these families do get benefits, but it's not enough, man. There's always money you need when there's children. And, you just want them to have the least amount of stress as possible in life. And money causes stress. So I said this on Twitter. Any one of these slain cops, I will do a free show for you guys anywhere, anytime. If any of those families need some cash, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. When my family was hit with a terrible tragedy when my father fell off a roof, and we needed some cash, and people got an auction together for us. And my mother's a very proud woman, and she still took the money because it was charity and people raised it. It wasn't coming out of people's pockets directly, and it was needed. And sometimes you need it, and I never forgot that. And I try to give back when I can. I'm trying to get in heaven. and we'll see what happens. So honestly, in all seriousness, if any of the families need anything, like a free show, I could probably get a couple other comics to do this. A lot of great comedians I know who are very, very generous. And maybe we could help you out one night if you need it. If not, we're praying for you, you know. It's crazy what is happening. I just hope these things aren't connected, like, you know, everybody gets together on, what do they call it? Twitter, social media. That's helping out stuff. I mean, you know, again, the Unabomber was right, but he went about it the wrong way. The message was wrong. Sending bombs to people is a bad way to get a message around.
Yes.
Unless the Japanese will not surrender. I'm kidding. You know, so technology, man. Well, Dan, what do you think about technology? You know, you're a guy more political than I and smarter than I in a lot of ways. Whatever. And do you think technology ultimately, let me ask you this, will it ultimately be worse for bad for society or better for society? Ultimately, down the road, what's better? You know, information getting to people quickly and people communicating better, or bad groups communicating like terrorists very efficiently and planning death?
Man, I hate to sound old, but I think it's getting the message of fringe people on the left and the right out there quicker than they ever thought. And we would not know half of these people if we didn't have, you know, Twitter or Facebook, and all the people with the fake stories. When you realize that people didn't know that they were fake stories on Facebook, they're trying to address that now. You're like, wow.
And that's a bipartisan problem. You know, it definitely seemed to have, you know, with Facebook and Mark Zuckerman's politics, you know, they're saying it hurt Clinton, but that's trouble all over the place. You know, apparently no one could email Gary Johnson where Aleppo was. What's Aleppo? But you're right. So you're saying it's going to be the society as a whole would be better off without technology down the road.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That's a big statement, but you're right. You know, look, that's as good an opinion as any out there. Why would he be wrong? I mean, he's got a good argument.
Everything has to be instant, and they take these instant polls and instant graphs, and you know they have the Fox has that meter where people you don't even have a time to think of what the person said.
It's unbelievable.
You know,
it's unbelievable. Everything's fast now. Well, like, you know, Joe Buck earlier was talking about how HBO didn't give him a chance. What's good after 4 episodes? You think MASH was good the first 3 episodes? Seinfeld took a year. You got to gel. And that's true with politics too. And people's opinions. You know, Trump. Whatever you think of him, the 30 seconds after he was president, CNN said, "Where's the wall?" You know, and it goes the other way too. It's obnoxious, and again, a problem with these young kids, these millennials, whatever. Look. Everyone doesn't want to sound like their grandparents with, you know, the generation gap. But I'm telling you, there's nothing like this generation gap, ever. Ever. Take music. Music has gone from a band and guitars and drums to a laptop. That's what people play.
That takes no talent at all to do.
Yeah. I mean, listen, these mashups take a little talent, but it's as clever as an 8th grader writing a song parody or something. You know, it's not Keith Richards writing Tumbling Dice. It's just not. And there was a generation gap at Sinatra, the Sinatra generation and the Woodstock generation. There was. But you know what? The music was different, but they still had drums. There was still similarities because it was music. It was a band still. They just didn't wear tuxes, and they still play guitar and the drums. And there's Buddy Rich and Keith Moon. You know? Both a little crazy from what I hear. But this is like, you got DJ Tiesto with 80,000 people rolling on Molly, and what the hell are they listening to? There was that old thing, the people that followed the Grateful Dead sobered up and didn't like the music. Well, guess what? Listen to a lot of the Dead stuff. It's good shit. He's playing a guitar. There's a drum. Sugar Magnolia. So we went from Sinatra going, "Isn't it rich?" to Sugar Magnolia. It's not that different. But now we went from Sugar Magnolia to rap going, "What's up, motherfucker?" to just his laptop going, "Ow, ow, ah." It's noise. It's like a traffic stop or something. And I've said this before. What do you yell out at a concert with a guy with a laptop? What do you yell out? It used to be you yell out to Keith Richards, "Do the solo for satisfaction." Now people are yelling, "Check your email." Hit the space bar. Tweet out where's my mother going to pick us up? Can you check it? Terrible.
Paint it black, you mother.
That's right, Dan. Absolutely. Dan with a big reference to Get Your Yayas out. Live album. And what's a live DJ Tiesto album? What do you hear there? It's the same shit. If DJ Tiesto just programmed, all he'd have to do, I could learn. It would take me years and years. I probably would never learn how to play the guitar as good as Yngwie Malmsteen, or Keith Richards, or Jimi Hendrix. You're never going to learn to play as good as Jimi Hendrix. But Nils Lofgren tried to teach me night moves. It took forever. I left there retarded. I don't know what to do. You know what? I couldn't play night moves. I'm not music. Here's the analogy. I tried to wipe my ass once with my left hand. I fell off the toilet. I broke my right pinky playing football. Apparently, my black friend Leslie Dixon couldn't throw the ball soft enough. I'm so mad at him for this. It wasn't racial at all, but I think on his part it was. It's another story. But anyway, I had a broken right finger, and I said, "Fuck it, I'll wipe my ass with my left hand. Can't be that hard." I wipe my ass with my right hand. Now I'll use my left hand. I fell off the toilet. My equilibrium went over. I went, what's happening? And I hit my head. My mother found me. Shitty ass, bloody head. She screamed. If Yngwie Malmsteen tried to teach me guitar, the same thing would happen. I'd fall off the toilet.
I can't even rip the toilet paper with my left hand.
Yeah.
I got no coordination.
You can't hit the ball out of a Little League field. You play ball like a broad. I digress. No, it is anything lefty. I don't know. This poor kid, when they put that St. Jude's Hospital commercial on. First of all, I'll say this. The kid, the lead kid, the spokesman, is a bit of an asshole. You can tell that he's like the star now, and each commercial he gets more and more arrogant, and the other kids get less and less screen time. He's probably got a girlfriend who's like, look, man, at least you got arms, honey. This kid with no arms is muscling on your shit. You're the best. You're the most talented. St. Jude's kids have a Yoko.
No.
So there's a kid with no arms. There's a kid with no arms. Is there a God? This kid with no arms. I just think of his ass. How's he wiping his ass? Anyway, that's what keeps me up at night. Right now, that kid is shitting, and what's happening? What's happening? Someone's got to wipe his ass, and I think it should be the kid who's the star. They should let the front kid I'm gonna go for the tangent. I was trying to do something nice with the families of the cops, like making fun of a kid with no arms. That's what happens on the podcast. So contact me, guys. Is my point. We're thinking about you, the cops here, and protect yourselves. What's happening is crazy. Of course, I asked Dan about technology, and he wastes time.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding. I'll say one more thing before we throw into this non sequitur. What we're doing today is, the reason I'm on here is because we have such a crazy non sequitur that I did the other day. We didn't even know what to do with it. I started doing a Jesse Jackson impression, and it went on for a while. And Dan said, let's just tag it to another show. And I said, okay, you're right about that, because it doesn't fit in anywhere. It's on the island of Misfit Bits. And you know my Jesse Jackson, of course. Jackie, please. Jackie. Jackie. This is him doing Jackie Robinson's eulogy. Jackie said, Jackie. Jackie. The only word you understand is Jackie. So I did that for a while, and I'm introducing that. So it's basically, I apologize, but this is it. It makes no sense. And we're going to tag it to the end of the Joe Buck thing. So I was supposed to introduce that. That's the introduction, okay? It makes sense now. Before I leave, I want to say, what I am thankful for on this Thanksgiving is Danny Falato.
Oh.
I am.
God.
This guy is as good a friend as I've ever had, as loyal. And I'm telling you right now, anybody who's a fan of mine, I would not be alive, much less entertaining you on the podcast. I'm basically talking to Steve Torelli and Monica. No, I'm kidding, of course. Vinny Montag and Artie fan clips.
And Nick from Chicago. Well, what about me? I'm in day one.
Who's Nick from Chicago? Oh, he's right. Anyone day one. But honestly, Danny is just I can't even get into how loyal he is and how much work he does, and it's all him, man. This is it. Danny has made it to where. Listen, I interviewed Joe Buck today. Danny has made it to where I literally 40 seconds after I'm asleep, 40 seconds after I've been sleeping, I wake up and I'm on the air talking to Joe Buck. He's running wires all over the house. I did a part of a David Wells interview taking a shit. He didn't even know it. But Dan is, and you can get judged by your friends in life. Danny, Bill Murray and people like Harry Shearer and Dan Patrick.
Oh yeah.
He knows guys who are clearly efficient, good people. Judith, Harry's wife. I've got knowing Dan is I know Harry Shearer through Dan and Judith. Such great people. I'm glad I'm in their Rolodex or their contact sheet. And still I met Bill Murray through Dan, through other friends. I doubt Dan knows Bill Murray. No, Danny, honestly, I love you. I thank you for everything.
Love you too, buddy.
You are fantastic. And you're my Smokey. And maybe we'll tell you one day what that means. So anyway, that's it. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. And to the fans of this podcast, man, in all honesty, you're a small group, but you're making me another $100,000 a year. And you are so loyal and great. You're like a family. Anything you ever need, call Dan. You're honestly, the Monicas and Torellis and all these guys I'm talking about, you are just, you defend me on Twitter when I need it, and I love you. I feel an affection towards you guys, and it's very heterosexual. So thank you to you as well.
Ben and Brad.
Oh, Ben and Brad. I feel like the Chuckle. What was that Magic Garden with the Chuckle Patch? I would always want to hear my name. And every once in a while they say Arthur. Like, oh, Artie. All right, so we're getting sappy. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the money. Go out. From the Howard Stern days, let me say this. Salud, Chindan, Broccoli Rob, Beat, Sagain, Shviandel. I love you all. So Joe Buck has been there forever in baseball, and think of me. Jeffrey Mayer grew up with him when he wasn't stealing a home run for. I mean, that cheater. Watch the tape of that. It's basically past the warning track into the field. It was a pop up to second. that shows that the Yankees are touched by an angel, and who is touched by an angel? Derek Jeter. You know what I'm saying? Jeffrey Meyer reached out and grabbed that ball, and that let Jeter reach out and grab pussy for 20 years. He ran, Hollywood actress twat through that fucking apartment. Like a rum runner. Like Joe Kennedy Sr. ran fucking booze with the Purple Detroit Gang.
That's why Mark Grace didn't want to come here in '96.
Why?
Because he said, dude,
Jews?
Yeah. It's High Me Town.
Yeah. That's it. By the way, they had Jesse Jackson. We have to try to get the tape of this. We had Jesse Jackson giving his input. Dare I say this input? On all the racial inequality and stuff that's going on with Trump. And you can't, again, Jesse Jackson does not speak English. And I'm not talking about black accent and ebonics. He doesn't speak a word of English. And the thing I always point to, jokingly, but it's true, is the Jackie Robinson eulogy. One of them is given, the main one was given by Jesse Jackson. Holy shit. Holy shit. He's got an afro the size of Denver. And he's a photo opportunist. When Martin Luther King got shot, he was in the entourage. Unless, make sure you're not around LeBron James when you say posse. I'll get into that, too. What the fuck is he talking about? So, yeah. He was in the entourage when Martin Luther King got shot. And he makes sure he's popping that big afro in, checking his, pulse or something. Fuck you. Give him mouth to mouth, dude. Go all the way.
There isn't a white woman in Chicago who hasn't been hit up by him.
Yeah. Including you. I say, gun mandates for a minority citizen. Come back and say, I say, they're for too. Back and say, Hammond, Indiana. Hammond, Indiana casino with a come back and say, Trump, I say, Trump Hotel. Back and say, rhetoric. Don't I say rhetoric at Trump. Eric Trump amazing Trump. Eric Trump amazing Trump. America war. Mexico war. I say, taxes. Tax return Clinton. I say, Monica Lewinsky get up right now. Tea, massage, cigar. Cigar. They built Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton as a mandate economic ghetto. Sabrina Green, Chicago for him. The fast time rape the recruit. McClatchy back out fast on taking for Samuel Cosby came. Back up at that afro, the single sale, government mandates of fundage. Fund the mandate for say Hasara, Canoga County. Canoga County, Cleveland, Kansas, Jim Brown, Mama. Without actually Brown, black. That's it, burn the flag, That's it, Denver. Look at some of that. Jackie Robinson, see. Jackie. Jackie. But I say, Jackie Robinson. This is Jackie Robinson. Look, I say, how it goes hell. But I've had the Jews, that's how rickets. I say the Cubs, they regularly chewing gum and come back out and marry a man march for Sharpton. Hey, that Sharpton, don't say. Sharpton, too. I say, what's your name? I say, Jesse Jackson, come back and say. Out of Ribbon, come say. Marla Maple. Marla Maple say. And nobody say, come watch that Canoga County. Government mandate for minorities. If you black in this country, and you want tax return, tax break, small business, you say barber shop, come back home, sweeping our hair, grade A felony. You say that grade A felony, you come back and say, I can't get into dental school, right? When you are saying about a skill position, but first say you oppress. Like I said, oppression with a judge and I said I pay black on black crime. With the black on black crime, with the murder rate, on the same page, Chi-Town, Chicago, Windy City, that's how Frank Sinatra. Jesse James, Jesse Jackson, Jesse Pete. No, not what you do. Jesse Barfield. Good right arm, right field, that's right. Come back out and say we have one country. I say Ernie Banks said, let's get to. I say Richard Roper. I come back out. Ken Singleton and John Singleton. Ken Singleton got a base hit while he directed Boys in the Hood. John Singleton directed Boys in the Hood because extra bone in his ankle. Jimmy the Greek. Jackie said Jimmy the Greek. Look at who Jimmy the Greek looks sweaty. He sweat like a pig with a say. He sweats out with a say bacala. Jimmy the Greek sweats a bacala. Once again, Jimmy the Greek sweats a bacala. My name is Jackson Afouchine. Just like I say. I don't know the difference. I said, I don't know the difference if I say I can say the kiddo pig, if I say the little black kid eat. Garrett Moss. Garrett Moss played the character of the Cuban guy. Mediocre. 17 odd years working in a Saturday Night Live. I can have my Tim Meadows. Not Audrey Meadows, Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows played the wife of Jackie Gleason on the Honeymooners. No, that Audrey Meadows. Not Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows, 17 years working for the white man, as you can see. He do the ladies' man. He make a lisp. The entire character's a fucking lisp. Southern John Massapequa. Shit in your brow. Son of John have long hair, the life, Puerto Rican. Jackie said Puerto Ricans and blacks get together with Jackie said. Jackie said we can't fit another person in the car. Back to the Puerto Rican. Chris Cotton has no hand. Comedian Chris Cotton has no hand. That's what they called Jesse Jackson. Chris Cotton said to me, thanks for taking my call. I said, I thought they said you were about to talk about Christ and cotton. You talk Chris Cotton. Common mistake is you're talking mandate, minority citizens, African American. He said to me, I broke my hand and I'm a comedian. My skin is jet black and I have that odd looking retarded hair on my skin. Forearms. My wife is a beautiful Nubian princess. I said, Nubian princess and my wife. I said, there's something fishy about this right here. I said, say a Hail Mary and get the fuck out of my face. Enclosure. Tawana Brawley. Tawana Brawley. Tawana Brawley. Rape. Smeared feces all over her face. Reese's feces. According to Big Al Sharpton, who always tells the truth. Right now, Al turns sideways, look like a Pez dispenser. He lost disconcerting amounts of weight. I said, you had the package. What package? I said, the AIDS virus. We calls it the package. Well, I delivered the package, Jackie said. Jackie said, my robe don't fit for the side enclosure because I have a robe. I said, fine. My name is Jackie. Well, time to go. That's a brief history. As I said. Did my wife call you? No. Anybody call you for me? No. Did a woman named Terra Falconeri call? Terra Falconeri. I have an Italian woman that I sleep with every once in a while. No? Fine. I love Italian pussy. John Gotti almost kicked my ass for that one time. I high-fived him and I said, how's the Italian pussy in this tenement? And he said to me, I made $104 million last year as a pizzeria alone. I said, be pausable. No pizzeria makes that much money. Even if the pepperoni slice is good. Well, it's time for me to go. As you know, I'm going to give the eulogy once again for Jackie Robinson, even though he's still alive. I may do it for Jackie Gleason as well. And I'll say, Jackie Gleason. I said, I'll leave you with this anecdote. I said, Jackson, 2 mice fall into a bowl of cream. The one mouse quickly gave up and drowned in the cream and died. The other mouse decided to try to run as fast as he could out the cream. He run until he run so fast he turned that cream into butter, and he calmly walked out of the butter. And he escaped into freedom because he jogged hard and never gave up, and he turned that cream into butter and walked out the butter. Not really a realistic story, but go with it. The mouse walked out to freedom because he tried so hard. The first mouse just gave up and died like a loser. The second mouse got up and kept trying and walked to freedom. I'll leave you with this. As of tonight, people, me, Jesse Jackson, I am that second mouse. So Barack Obama got in here and quit, but someone saved his ass and gave him all the big push. The big push that Bob Levy talking about. Bob Levy didn't get the big push like Bobby Woods or Vic DeVito. So he's still in his enclosure. Barack Obama got the big push, even though he quit. My black ass was left there to churn the butter. I churn the butter, turn it into cream. No, wait, check that. No, I turned the cream into butter. Actually, the other story is I fall in butter. Well, I'm fine. I walk so much, I make it into cream and I drown. That's a bullshit story. This story, I fall in the cream. It's liquid. It's all in my afro. The cream's all in my fucking afro. I look like I salt and pepper and shit. That's when I push, push. Push it real good. Push it real good. Turn into butter, walk out, I'm fine, I'm just thinking about, thank you so much, I'm just a Jackie. And this has been the eulogy for Jackie Robinson, where you only understand the word Jackie. Jackie say, Jackie do, Jackie. Thank you. Oh, God, I have a headache. How long was that? I'm parched. Oh. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. That was 18 minutes longer than Mike Boschetti usually does. When Boschetti